State of Nevada.
In Nevada, 30-year-old Deobra Redden, who struggled with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, was facing sentencing for an earlier assault with a baseball bat. During the hearing, Redden tried to argue that he deserved a second chance, claiming he was in a better place in life and no longer committing crimes.
I shouldn't be sent to prison for a second time.
Have you looked at your criminal history? Have you looked at your criminal history?
I actually just, I looked at it.
Judge Mary Kay Holthus reminded him of his criminal history, including 3 felonies, 9 misdemeanors, and multiple DV charges. Redden, frustrated and agitated, suddenly lunged over the courtroom bench toward the judge.
But I think it's time that you get a taste of something else, because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the State of Nevada,
He struck Judge Holthus, pulled out parts of her hair, and caused serious injuries to a deputy who tried to intervene. The deputy required 25 stitches for a forehead laceration and also suffered a dislocated shoulder. Courtroom deputies restrained Redden as alarms sounded and medical personnel were called. Following the attack, Redden faced 13 additional charges, including attempted murder, battery, and extortion by threat. For the original assault and courtroom attack combined, he was sentenced to 19 to 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections, with potential decades more if convicted on the new charges. 30-year-old Bass Webb appeared in Kentucky court facing attempted murder charges. Webb, a former inmate who had served 3 months on assault charges, had already shown extreme violence outside the courtroom. CCTV footage revealed him deliberately hitting 2 prison workers with his car. One narrowly escaped, while the other was seriously injured. When Webb was produced before Judge Vanessa Dickinson, she initially recused herself because she knew the jail employees. But Webb's defiance continued. He spat at the judge, shocking the courtroom.
There's no way I'm going to try this case or have any further proceedings, or I have to see you for one further step. Set preliminary hearings next week. Charge me.
He was charged again and removed from the courtroom. While awaiting trial, Webb incited a riot in the county detention center, swinging a metal telephone box at a corrections officer and being shot with beanbag and pepperball rounds. These actions led to additional charges and a sentence of 15 years for the assault, along with an extra 37 years for the attempted murder of the jail employees, totaling 52 years. While incarcerated, new evidence connected Webb to the unsolved murder of his ex-girlfriend, Bria Runowitz. He confessed to the killing to avoid the death penalty and received an additional 50-year sentence. 5 years later, another cold case emerged, the murder of his ex-girlfriend, Sabrina Vaughn. Webb appeared in court with a tattooed hit list on his head, targeting judges, prosecutors, police, media, and others.
Today he came into the courtroom with tattoos that read "Kill Rats" and "Those That Must Die" above a list that included all judges, prosecutors, cops, the media, 3 rats that had been crossed out, and many more.
He was convicted and sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Joseph Zeeler, a double murder suspect from Cape Coral, Florida, was linked to the 1990 killings of 11-year-old Robin Cornell and her babysitter, Lisa Story. The case went cold for over 2 decades, until Zeeler was arrested in 2016 for shooting and injuring his son. His DNA collected during that arrest matched evidence from the 1990 crime scene, reopening the decades-old case. Zeeler was charged with capital murder, and prosecutors sought the death penalty. During the trial, He initially denied knowing the victims, but later claimed his DNA was present because of an alleged intimate encounter with the victim's mother. He also accused the prosecution of framing him, despite retesting confirming the DNA evidence. The jury convicted Zeeler of first-degree murder for both Robin Cornell and Lisa Story, but the courtroom was left stunned at the sentencing. When Zeeler requested a private discussion with his attorney, he struck the lawyer with a cheap elbow. Deputies quickly subdued him, though the lawyer later joked he had taken worse hits during boxing. Afterward, the court proceeded with sentencing. Reviewing similar capital cases, the judge concluded that the death penalty was appropriate. Joseph Zeeler was formally sentenced to death for the murders of Robin Cornell and Lisa Story.
Joseph Zeeler was sentenced to death for the 1990 murders of 11-year-old Robin Cornell and 32-year-old Lisa Story. He received 2 death sentences, 1 for each of the victims.
Christopher Teal, a homeless man in Seattle, Washington, faced sexual assault charges after allegedly following a woman into a Volkswagen dealership restroom and attacking her. He was arrested when employees intervened and charged with first-degree sexual assault and unlawful imprisonment. During a competency hearing in King County, Teal was represented by his lawyer, Reed Birkeland. As the hearing began, Teal appeared amused and suddenly, without warning, punched Birkeland. Court officers quickly restrained Teal, placed a spit hood on him, and removed him from the courtroom.
Face down! Face down! Put your hand on your face!
Burke was unharmed but withdrew from the case following the incident. At subsequent hearings, Teal was heavily restrained in the chair to prevent further attacks. Despite the security measures, his main concern in court was a mugshot showing his hair, which he claimed appeared on Facebook without his knowledge. Christopher Teal was eventually sentenced to 8.5 years in prison for his crimes. Sidney Newsom, facing a domestic violence charge in Pike County Justice Court, Mississippi, got into a physical altercation with Judge Aubrey Rimes during his hearing. Initially calm, Sidney Newsom became agitated after an argument with the court officer and was asked to sign some papers. When he resisted, Sidney Newsom grabbed a stack of papers and threw them at the judge, then threw a telephone as officers attempted to restrain him. At one point, Sidney Newsom overpowered a court officer, prompting Judge Aubrey Rimes to physically pin him to the table until backup arrived. Sidney Newsom was eventually restrained and removed from the courtroom. As a result, he faced additional charges for contempt of court and served 48 hours in jail.